Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm good. It's Friday.
It is indeed, and we've got a guest coming up later in the program. Andy Gause is a monetary expert, and we're going to chat with him about a thing called a universal basic income. And it's something that has been in the news, and we're going to talk about whether that's a good idea or a bad idea or what that is.
It's a very bad idea.
Well, we're going to find out from an expert coming up later in the program. Also, speaking of experts, I've got a quote for today from Socrates. He was known to be kind of a smart fellow, right?
Yeah.
Socrates?
Yeah.
He says, be the kind of person that you want people to think you are. I like that. So
Agreed.
Be who you want others to think you really are, and you're going to be a better person. There you go. Coming up, some special stuff going on today and a lot of fun things to get to on a Friday edition of the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Do you shop online? Do you know anyone else that shops online? Come on, it's 2017. Most people buy at least some things online every month. How would you like to save money and earn money from that shopping? There's an interesting new program that allows you to sign up for free. No credit card needed. Then you can save money when you buy online at many of the major sites. Plus, there's a way to earn money, too. Watch the video with all of the details at radiosavings.com. Save money and earn money. Radiosavings.com. That's radiosavings.com. Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Friday, July the 28th. It's Buffalo Soldiers Day today. It is Lumberjack Day today. We could cue some music right now from Monty Python.
Yeah, we could.
I'm a
I was just
lumberjack,
thinking
I'm
about it
okay.
when you said that.
National Milk Chocolate Day today. Ooh, hey, we celebrate that one a lot. National Get Gnarly Day today. It is also National Talk in an Elevator Day, which I do every time I get in an elevator. I always like to, have a little small talk, a little chit-chat. And World Hepatitis Day. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on. It's a busy day. Which one of those do you think I'm going to celebrate, Heidi?
Probably all of them.
I'm going to celebrate Talk in an Elevator Day, and I'm going to celebrate National Milk Chocolate Day. Those are the two. And maybe Lumberjack Day.
What
Probably
about Hepatitis Day?
I don't know. I'm going to steer clear of that. I always, a good rule for me is always try to avoid hepatitis. It's a good rule. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.
John and Heidi.
Wouldn't it be great to have a new car and to always have a new car? You can with lowerlease.com. We teach you how to get the best lease deals available. We have clients that have used our system to get a brand new $25,000 vehicle for just $250 per month. You pick the car you want and let us show you how to get the lease payment you want too. This is a proven system that has people driving new cars with no money down. Sign and drive a new car with a lower lease payment at lowerlease.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Got a fun day in store here. A lot of great things coming up. Going to be visiting with Andy Gause about a thing called a universal basic income. That's coming up later. And listen to this. A 60-year-old leader of a polygamous community in Canada has been found guilty of having 25 wives.
Whoa.
Yeah, I've got just one wife, and I can't keep her happy.
That's what I was just going to say. Most guys can't handle one.
I'm just wondering how this guy did it. Do you think he remembered all their anniversaries and
that is
birthdays
ridiculous.
and all that stuff? Probably not. Coming up, we've got your brain on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Each day at this time, we talk about people doing dumb things under the influence, but addiction is no laughing matter. If you or someone you know needs help, there's a toll-free number you can call.
1-800-438-0380.
That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline.
1-800-438-0380.
And this is your brain on drugs. In Peterborough, Ontario, police arrested a 41-year-old named Lawrence Alfred Carnite while he was biking with an axe in his hand, covered in blood.
What?
Yeah. Police are still trying to sort out all the chaos, but they have confirmed there was no victim other than him. It was his blood.
Oh, my gosh.
Carnite has been charged with publicly carrying dangerous weapons. This is really an interesting thing because he's got a criminal record that's quite lengthy. He's not well. We'll just say that. But he's got a history of drug addiction. So he was under the influence of something, decided to go for a bike ride with an axe, and like I said, was covered in blood.
Well,
that is just a
fruitcake.
That is just a scary. I'm praying that this guy gets some help because he needs it. He's been arrested numerous times, and this time he's very fortunate that he's even alive. You know, I don't know what he did with that axe, but he was bleeding all over, so it's a good thing he even made it. Kids, this is what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Now your big screen, little screen for this Friday. A study shows that 4 out of 5 people seeking cosmetic surgery say they've been doing it because they were influenced by a television show or a celebrity. That's not good.
No.
Just because they want to go and look like plastic critters doesn't mean you need to do that. Hey, a boat that was featured in the movie Dunkirk is for sale. The sailing barge.
What is Dunkirk?
It's a movie. Xylonite.
Have you seen it?
No. If I had, you would have seen it. We do everything together. So. The sailing barge Xylonite is really a 4-bedroom floating home in London, which has been listed for sale for $550,000. Its original character has been fully preserved, which made it a perfect choice for the film. The barge is currently moored at a marina in London. So there you go. And one last story for our big screen, little screen. Netflix has said yes to Matt Groening, and I guess it's Groening is how you say it. He's the guy that has The Simpsons. Anyway, there's a new series from the creator of Simpsons and Futurama described as an adult fantasy about a crumbling medieval kingdom known as Dreamland. The central character is a hard-drinking princess named Bean, her elf companion Elfo, and her personal demon Lucy. The first 10 episodes will premiere next year on Netflix. So there you go. It's called Disenchantment. There we go. Disenchantment.
I would probably watch that.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
Interesting stuff. There you go. Big screen, little screen. Easy for me to say. Big screen, little screen brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. Movies and TV with a low monthly fee. That's ChannelSurferTV.com.
John and Heidi.
Are you trying to lose weight? I know the struggle. I've been overweight much of my life. I recently started the easiest weight loss program I've ever tried, and it's working great. I've lost almost 30 pounds, but I'm hearing amazing stories from others that have tried it too. One that's already lost 20 pounds, and another that's been doing this longer than I have that's lost almost 100 pounds. Want to try it for free? You can at pinkdrinkfree.com. Request your free sample right now at pinkdrinkfree.com. That's pinkdrinkfree.com. Now, your scoop of the day. There's a solar eclipse happening on the 21st of August, so we are less than a month away, Heidi. Are you prepared?
Right.
Are you ready?
I really don't care.
What are you going to see where you live? Well, if you want to look up in the sky right now, it's not going to help, but I can send you to a link on our website. It's actually on our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. There's a tool that shows you what to expect if you look up on the 21st of August. So there you go. Snopes. This is no joke. One of the internet's first and most famous fact-finding checking websites said that...
It's an opinion finding.
Well, they say a previous website vendor continues to hold Snopes hostage, and the site is in danger of shutting down.
Good.
If they don't raise $500,000. They started a GoFundMe campaign. Heidi, are you going to contribute?
Not even a little. Not one red cent.
She does not like that site at all.
It's not factual at all. I mean, so many stories that they say, oh, this is what happened. You can absolutely prove that they were false.
Well,
it's
there you go.
Ridiculous.
Now you know
and
what Heidi thinks.
Everybody who tries to argue with me says, well, according to Snopes, are you kidding? Find a rep. You might as well quote CNN.
Oh, Heidi. Let's move on. Most people commute by bus or by train or by car, but a German man is getting to work by swimming. There you go. David, Mr. David, Benjamin David is his name. He was fed up with the stress of commuting on a city bus and on the busy roads. So now he packs his laptop and his suit and his shoes into a waterproof bag, straps it onto his back, and then jumps into a river and swims 2 kilometers to work. That's a long way to swim.
Yeah.
So wouldn't he be better off just walking, don't you think? I don't know. That just sounds like a lot more work than it really has to be. I don't know.
Well, you know, he's got 2 first names.
Washington State has a new law against distracted driving. If you're eating or applying makeup or playing with your pet while driving, it's going to cost you $99 in the state of Washington. So there you go. Taking a low dose of aspirin can reduce the risk of many kinds of cancer, and the evidence is strong enough to suggest people over 40 should take daily aspirin as protection, according to this story.
They've been saying that for years and years about heart disease, so apparently it helps more than just heart disease. That's a good thing. According
to some experts, though, taking aspirin carries a small risk of stomach bleeding. That doesn't sound good. but that risk is beginning to be drowned out by the benefits in reducing cancer and the risk, the benefits of reducing the risk of heart attack. I don't know why I'm having struggles talking right now, Heidi.
What's a little blood in the stomach if you're going to live a little longer?
And finally, a new device may allow you to talk on your cell phone without ever running out of power. And it's not a new battery, it's a pair of shoes. Electric shoes that have an energy dynamo inside the soles to generate power wherever you go. And then it'll release it into a controlled way into a power to power your telephone. The shoes developed by Dr. Jim Gilbert are so powerful, they can run personal stereos and computers and heaters and their navigation systems as well. Gilbert says about 3 watts of electricity are needed to power a cell phone. The trick is for the shoes to be able to generate enough power without requiring the person to walk any more than usual. The boots will undergo an endurance test next with a walk in the desert to see if they can work under extreme conditions. If successful, the shoes could be used by military units in the future. They have plans also to market them commercially to people who would need, some walking shoes to generate electricity for gadgets and stuff.
Another guy with 2 first names.
Yeah, there you go. See?
Several of those in this break.
There are indeed. Also, we've got a man with 1 first name, and it's Andy, and his last name is Gause. We're going to be talking to him coming up in just a bit about a new thing called the Basic Income. What was it called again?
I don't remember.
Basic Income. I don't remember. Something about a basic income. Anyway, I'll look at my notes before I ask him. Going to chat about that coming up next.
John and Heidi.
Join us this November for 80s in the Sand.
Talk about a trip back in time.
80s in the Sand is in beautiful Punta Cana, Dominican Republic.
Featuring awesome bands like Loverboy, Starship, Night Ranger, Howard Jones, and many more.
Plus, you'll get a chance to meet 80s icons like Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew McCarthy, and many others.
You can book your trip back to the 80s now at 80sinthesand.com.
Use promo code RADIO to save $200 per person at 80sinthesand.com.
We'd love it if you'd join us.
That's 80sinthesand.com. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show. I'm very excited to visit with my special guest today, Andrew Gause. We've talked to him several times on the program, and we love chatting with him because we always learn quite a bit. He's the author of The Secret World of Money and the author of Uncle Sam Cooks the Books, and he's a monetary expert, and we learn a ton every time. Andrew, how are you, sir?
Doing great. How are you, John?
Very good. Excited to have you on the program. And today we're going to talk about something that I've never heard of before, but I'm kind of reading through the info here, and it's an interesting concept. It says, Universal Basic Income, America's future economic model? And then there's a question mark. Is it a good thing that it's still a question mark, or is this a good thing, period?
Well, it's a good thing it's still a question mark.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Somebody hasn't thought this thing through, that's for sure. The idea basically is that you give everyone who's not retired a check for $12,000 a year so that they could pay their basic bills. So this would presumably replace welfare, food stamps, everything else, just a universal basic income that everyone gets, regardless of their circumstance. So if you work above that and earn extra money, well, that's fine, but you don't have to work at all. Theoretically, you get the $12,000 and you can live that basic subsistence life.
Now, who's proposing this? Because there are people who were pitching this and saying, hey, this could be the way. Who are the people that are pitching this, saying that this is a good idea?
Well, right now you have the wonderful Mark Zuckerberg and Mark Andreessen and Bill Gates and mostly the techie guys, because they recognize that when they were in their foundational stages, that the biggest thing that they had to worry about is how to pay the bills, And so if they had a universal basic income, well, they could have continued thinking about their big ideas without having to worry about paying the rent. And that's the theory behind it, and I suppose why those folks are in favor of it. But you go back to George McGovern or Friedrich Hayek, the very famous Austrian school economist. This is not a new concept. It's been tried in a couple of experimental settings, but the idea of rolling it out to the entire United States, as I look at the circumstances of our finances, I see that we're setting up an intergenerational war where the current generation is paying 77 cents of every tax dollar just to service the debt of the previous generation. And so that leaves them nothing for their own welfare and well-being. And as a result, you're seeing folks almost in a state of revolt. So the ultimate bribe would be a universal basic income.
Is this something, if I remember correctly, Bernie Sanders, was he talking about this? Is this the same thing that he was talking about when he was running for president?
Yes. The ultimate socialist indeed was talking about this, and the idea of a free universal education. Well, I guess anything to buy a vote would fit that category.
So now, with a model like this, what are the pros and what are the cons of let's just talk about the pros first. What would the good part? I guess you kind of mentioned what Zuckerberg's saying is, hey, it would give people the chance to pursue their dreams. Are there other pros besides that, and then what are the cons of this type of thing?
Well, theoretically, the poverty level would be increased to $12,000. I mean, I can't think of too many pros. I can sure think of the cons. On the negative side, those who are working, first of all, this is going to cost $1.5 trillion a year. Trillion. And I guess from the perspective of those in charge of the money system, since we've abandoned the Constitution, and that is just literal. If you read the Constitution, Article 1, it says, no state shall make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debt. And that was intended to limit the amount of money that was in circulation and to make sure that we didn't blow our economy into a giant credit bubble, that, only gold and silver would be money. And so once we abandoned that concept, which we did, then there's no limit to how much money can be created, and so everything you can dream can be.
Yeah, we've been off the gold standard for how long now?
Well, President Nixon closed the gold window in 1971. So it hasn't been that long. Certainly there are those of us that were alive in 71, so it's been in our lifetime that we've tried this experiment of an unbacked money system. And then just 8 years ago, we tried for the first time aggravated quantitative easing. We put so much money into circulation. Now that the Federal Reserve is talking about taking it back out of circulation, I imagine those who understand money realize that that will cause a recession. And so getting even more money into circulation is the holy grail for them. And this universal basic income idea, that really does it. It makes sure that $1 trillion extra enters circulation every year.
Who would be the big winners on a situation like this?
Gee, I can't think of any winners. I suppose those who have fallen through the safety net and have no means of income, perhaps no social assistance whatsoever, they might see their situations improve a bit. So let's say if there is a winner, it's at the bottom of the scale. If there's a loser in this, it's the person that's worked for the last 40 years and saved a fixed supply of money, and now they have to make that money last for the next 30 years. They're going to see that purchasing power diminish greatly if an idea like this gains any traction. Because when you're adding 5% new money to the money system every year, then prices will rise by about 5% a year. That's kind of basic economics. So if you're stuck with a fixed supply of money and you're seeing your bills increase by 5% a year, that can't be pleasant for anyone in a retired position. And
again, that money has to come from somewhere, so that would be, I'm assuming, a giant increase in taxes to pay for it.
Well, no, see, that's the thing. See, naturally a giant increase in taxes, but we've learned as a government, even Donald Trump's very austere budget, President Trump's budget calls for a $600 billion deficit. It seems that we've grown accustomed to the idea, even though, again, the Constitution says that all the revenue for the Treasury should be raised by the House of Representatives through taxes, by putting it off on our grandchildren and their grandchildren in the form of bonding, borrowing money. This is something that our government is well used to. So whether our deficit is $600 billion, as Dick Cheney once famously said, deficits don't matter. So $600 billion or $1.6 trillion, what's the difference as far as they're concerned? the end result isn't felt until they're well out of office and spending their excess campaign contributions.
Wow. I'm going to start living my life that way. Deficits don't matter. It doesn't matter if I don't have the money. I'm going to just spend it anyway. You think we could get away with that very long, Andy?
Well, as long as we can raise our own credit limit, yes, you can, right? I mean, after a while, you have to ask yourself, why am I working at all? Why don't I just borrow everything that I need to live? And that's how our government has learned to operate. So as long as the incestuous relationship between the Federal Reserve and the federal government exists, where the federal government raises its debt limit to whatever it wants it to be, and then the Federal Reserve creates that money and loans it to them, man, what a deal they have. That's gonna last for a good long time, or until we run out of zeros.
Wow. Again, our guest right now, Andy Gause, one of America's foremost experts on American monetary system and the history of U.S. currency. He's the president of the SDL Incorporated, and he's also the author of The Secret World of Money and Uncle Sam Cooks the Books. And we've chatted with him numerous times here on the program. Every single time, we just walk away knowing so much more than we knew before. And if you're a person like me that likes to learn, and if you have not yet reached out to him about his free informational CD, I'm going to encourage you to listen up, because, Andy, could you give the info on how they could do that? Where do they go if they'd like to get that free informational CD?
We have 3 CDs that we do fling from the rooftops. It's basic understanding of the monetary system in 3 half-hour CDs. The first one is entitled The Federal Reserve. What is this institution? How does it operate? Where does it get the money? The second is the definition of money. What is a dollar, and why should you be concerned about what it is? And the third, protecting your wealth, probably our most popular. It gives you some common sense steps that you can take to protect yourself against this sort of madness. And you can get all 3 of these CDs absolutely free. I encourage you to put them in the car, listen to them, share them with your friends. The number is 800-468-2646. Mention that you heard on the John and Heidi Show. We'll send them to you, too sweet, as they say. And take a listen. I think you'll get a basic education of how the monetary system works, and you'll be able to share it with your friends. So that number again is 800-468-2646.
Very good. Andy, thank you again for your time. It's always a pleasure to visit, and I appreciate you keeping us up to date and informing us and educating us every time we reach out.
Thank you, my friend. Talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Again, Andy Gause, and if you'd like to know more, I'll give you his website as well. It's very simple. It's AndyGause.com, and I'll have a link on our social media to make it really easy. That's Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Do you shop online? Do you know anyone else that shops online? Come on, it's 2017. Most people buy at least some things online every month. How would you like to save money and earn money from that shopping? There's an interesting new program that allows you to sign up for free. No credit card needed. Then you can save money when you buy online at many of the major sites. Plus, there's a way to earn money, too. Watch the video with all of the details at radiosavings.com. Save money and earn money. Radiosavings.com. That's radiosavings.com. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The world's oldest piece of chewing gum is over 9,000 years old.
Like still chewed?
Yeah, apparently. It was all wadded up on the bottom of a sarcophagus or something. I don't know. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
A coyote can hear a mouse moving underneath a foot of snow.
Oh.
So, yeah, you can't get one past the coyote. Unless, of course, his name is Wiley. Then you can do just about anything. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Bolts of lightning can shoot out of an erupting volcano. I would like to see that.
Oh, I would like to see that. I bet that's cool.
I need a poster like that to hang on my wall. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
New York drifts about 1 inch further away from London every single year. So
really?
Yeah. That ocean, the Atlantic, is getting wider. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
A U.S. dollar bill can be folded about 4,000 times in the same place before it'll tear. That's pretty cool.
Oh, interesting.
I did not know that. A lot of fun facts right there. And our fun facts courtesy of pinkdrinkfree.com. Not just another diet, it's a way of life. That's pinkdrinkfree.com.
John and Heidi.
Are you trying to lose weight? I know the struggle. I've been overweight much of my life. I recently started the easiest weight loss program I've ever tried, and it's working great. I've lost almost 30 pounds, but I'm hearing amazing stories from others that have tried it too. One that's already lost 20 pounds, and another that's been doing this longer than I have that's lost almost 100 pounds. Want to try it for free? You can at pinkdrinkfree.com. Request your free sample right now at pinkdrinkfree.com. That's pinkdrinkfree.com.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. A man in China claimed he was abducted for 2 months, but he was released. You know why?
Why?
His captor said, "We're going to let you go because you eat too much." So he was eating too much.
Why aren't they just saying you can't eat
I don't know.
as much?
Apparently,
they're
when
the
they
captors.
put the food, there's not enough.
They get to decide
not
how
enough for all
much
the
he gets
captors we
fed.
have. So we're going to have to let you go.
That's
Sorry.
awesome.
And he's like, "Can I please stay? Isn't tomorrow Meatloaf Monday?"
That would be why I would be let go if I was
You
ever
gotta
kidnapped.
go. Mine would be, "You talk way too much. We gotta." Sorry, there was no ransom. We're going to pay you to just leave. All right. Coming up, we've got some weird news on a Friday. That's coming up in a bit.
John and Heidi.
Wouldn't it be great to have a new car and to always have a new car? You can with lowerlease.com. We teach you how to get the best lease deals available. We have clients that have used our system to get a brand new $25,000 vehicle for just $250 per month. You pick the car you want and let us show you how to get the lease payment you want too. This is a proven system that has people driving new cars with no money down. Sign and drive a new car with a lower lease payment at lowerlease.com.
John and Heidi.
Now, some weird news for this Friday. Holding the hand of a loved one to comfort them really does help reduce pain.
I agree.
There's
And
been a new-
anxiety.
There's been a new study. Dr. Pavel Goldstein, a postdoctoral pain researcher in the Cognitive and Affective Neuroscience Lab in the University of Colorado Boulder. That's a long title. Anyway, he was inspired to conduct the research after witnessing the birth of his daughter 4 years ago. His team found that when an empathetic partner is holding the hand of a woman in pain, their heart and respiratory rate sink and her pain dissipates. Dr. Goldstein said, the more empathetic the partner, the stronger the analogies, angeles, I don't know what it is, something angelesic, whatever that is, effect, and the higher synchronization between the two when they're touching. End of story. Sadly, I was just like cruising through that. I had all these big words that I got, neuroscience and, cognitive and affective. And then I stumbled on one word, so now everybody knows I'm not a doctor. Doggone it. Hey, if you'd like to read that story and, pronounce everything correctly, I've got it at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh. While going through his storage recently, Alice Cooper, the rock star, he discovered some art that could be worth millions of dollars.
Going through his own storage?
Yeah, he was going through his own storage, and he's like, oh, what do we have back here? Let's clean out this room. Oh, yeah, that's right. I've got millions of dollars worth of art back here.
Yeah, I always forget the millions of dollars worth of artwork that we have.
We recently
stored.
were moving, and we were going through some storage, and I also found some artwork that is probably not worth anything. So, as a matter of fact, we should have thrown away way more stuff.
Everything than you moved.
We had a whole dumpster full of stuff that we did throw away. And
Not near enough. I said we needed the big dumpster. He's like, no, we should get the little dumpster.
Well,
and it
the big
wasn't
dumpster
near.
I couldn't move. So the little dumpster I could move. And maybe we should have gotten the big dumpster so we could have moved. A whole lot easier. Anyway, coming up, we've got more fun stuff to get to. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Join us this November for 80s in the Sand.
Talk about a trip back in time.
80s in the Sand is in beautiful Punta Cana, Dominican Republic.
Featuring awesome bands like Loverboy, Starship, Night Ranger, Howard Jones, and many more.
Plus, you'll get a chance to meet 80s icons like Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew McCarthy, and many others.
You can book your trip back to the 80s now at 80sinthesand.com.
Use promo code RADIO to save $200 per person at 80sinthesand.com.
We'd love it if you'd join us.
That's 80sinthesand.com. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. This actually sounds almost like a Scooby-Doo episode or something. It doesn't sound real. Maybe not Scooby-Doo, but I don't know what. Something else. There's a sunken Nazi ship off the coast of Iceland, possibly carrying $130 million worth of gold.
Oh,
doesn't that sound like a movie or a TV show or something?
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Is what it sounds.
There is big question as to who would get the gold if somebody was able to go and capture it and get it and bring
whoever
it up.
captures it.
But I don't know how that works. So there's a big question on this particular sunken ship. Again, potentially $130 million worth of gold in a Nazi ship that's sunken off the coast of Iceland. So I might take next week off and see if I can go get them. Probably not. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I've got some good news here, Heidi. This is actually the second time we've had a story similar to this. The first time was like a week ago. We had a similar story, but this is a different one. With the help of the South Australian Police, that's the SAPOL is what they call it there, SAPOL, dentist there, Michael Uren, orchestrated a memorable moment, not a memorial, a memorable moment for his girlfriend, Katie, and she's never going to forget this one. Officers pulled Mr. Uren over on what was said to be a check of a suspicious flag on his car's registration. As Mr. Uren, Y-U-A-N, would you say Ewan or Yawn, or how would you say that?
I don't know.
As the dude was asked to get out of the vehicle, a second SAPOL officer began to question the female. That was Katie, his girlfriend, and he asked her to step out of the vehicle. Mr. Yawn dropped to one knee and revealed an engagement ring.
Aww.
Once she got over the shock, she responded with a resounding yes. I've got a link to that story on our Facebook page. I just think that's really cool that, you know, there are some people that are trying to come up with new ways to do the big proposal. This is the second time in the last week now that we've had a story. We've used it as our good news because I like it when there's good news involving the police.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing.
For sure.
You know, there's enough bad news out there, so I always try to make sure we shine a positive spotlight on the officers because we love them dearly and we pray for their safety. So I think this is just a cool story. And again, like I said, it's on our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Good news brought to you each day by our friends at 80sinthesand.com. That's a week-long 80s event in Punta Cana this November, and this gorgeous woman sitting next to me and myself, the two of us will be there. More info is available at 80sinthesand.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great Friday. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.